I think I'm on. Peace, YouTube. Peace, YouTube. This is FleurBrun coming to you today with a couple of messages from beyond. Check on in. I'll see if everybody can check in. Oh, Willy Wonka's not happy with me. The attacks, the failed attacks. I just want to tell Willy Wonka and his League of Doom, you're losers. Let me just extend this message before we start. I want to tell that a Willy Wonka system, you are a bunch of losers. Loser. Welcome to the Terror Dome. Check on in. Hello, Earthlings. Ah, my goodness, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, remember Annie was like, oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Hey, 7 grams. What's good? Listen, Willy Wonka's been coming for me, y'all. Let me give a sip to Willy Wonka and his dead lizards. That's a sip for the haters. Okay? Trying to come for FleurBrun. You know it's my season. And it's not Christmas time. It is the season of the Reptilians. The Day of the Dead. Okay? Muertos. Reptilian. Reptilio. Come on, check on it. Y'all, I'm out of control. I missed you too, Scotty. Hey, Scotty boy, 69. What's good? Okay. Check out it. We'll wait until 500. I hope everybody's well. Okay. I have messages. Remember, I don't channel, but I am a contactee. And this is my season where many of you know, like last year, this time, the black, I like to say it, melanated brotherhood, brown ETs contacted me. Remember, I was trying to contact my grandmother. You know, I don't make claims that I try to contact them. Sometimes beings that want to contact you will use your intent or your openness to and receptivity to contact you. So several messages. So check on in, come on in. You know, I hope everybody's being protective of themselves. Be mindful of those around you because you may not know. You meet someone and you think that they're real, but they're dead. You know, to a certain degree. Hey, Babette. To a certain degree, the holographic people are dead people. You know, when he says, I see dead people. And I'll kind of touch on the black phone too, because I did see the movie. So we're going to talk about that as well. Okay. But I just, like I said, if you're checking in, I've already given a shout out to the haters, Willy Wonka's League of Doom, who are attempting with their AI bastard system, notice the attempt, a failed attempt to try to attack FleurBrun. Oh, remember triple Sag, like that's a love language to me. You just want to meet the wrath. Remember, sometimes there's people that look non-chaotic, but they really are. And remember, I've got that energy. So when you bring it, I got it. I got it for you. So, it's a little excitement in my life. A little roughness around the edges. Oh boy. Yeah, the NPCs are out of control. There's a dead people. You can perceive them as dead people because they aren't real. They aren't real. Remember the lady in the plane was like, that mother freaker is not real. That's my ringtone for those who call me, who I perceive to be NPCs. So if you call me and you hear that ringtone, I apologize before it. I just perceive you as something that's not real, okay? Spirits are, sometimes we're not talking about spirits that have the essence of a soul being that transcended. We're talking about a program that is projecting itself into your reality that isn't real. So they're just programs. They're programs that are set in as props in the holographic system. So you perceive them. That's why I'm saying those are like dead people, in the way that, they aren't real. Okay. But we're going to talk about a couple messages today. And I want to give a shout out. There was a couple beings, maybe no. I want to give a shout out to the Covens, and let me give a shout out to Boston. I was in Boston. Big up to Boston, Massachusetts. I was in the motherfucking house, loving it. Boston received me well, so big up to all those from Boston, Massachusetts. I'm sorry I didn't tell you I was meeting up with the others. Big up to the Covens down there in Massachusetts. You know what I'm saying? They represent for FleurBrun. I got quite a few covenants. Who would have known? Little witchies who are cool with FleurBrun. Okay, so big up to Boston in the house. I haven't been to Boston in a long time. I think, oh God, I haven't been to Boston. I don't know, for a while. I was in downtown Boston meeting with the cryptids. Look at my face. And y'all representing. So I really appreciate. Thank you to all those who hosted us in Boston. We had a great time. Beautiful. I'll talk about those with the Zombies. I'll get a little more in detail with the Zombies. So thank you again. So I want to shout out to those in Massachusetts and Boston. The Covens up in that in that piece. Okay. I also want to give a shout out because in the message today that I talk about when we get to 500, I was made aware of the pact that was made between the melanated ETs and the MerMen. Notice I said the MerMen. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that, but I want to give a shout out to Katina Dean. Some of you don't know her. She has a channel. She's a medium. She's a channeler. She's a psychic. She's really good. And I remember maybe like 2 years ago, maybe Katina Dean can tell you I think it was like 2 years ago. She gave me a message to translate from the mer beings. And actually, they gave me a transcript back to her. So big up to Katina Dean. Apparently, they claim her as their kin. They have a thing for her and they protect her. So, I get chills up my spine. Like in the message with the black, I use black very loosely, black ETs and their pack with the MerMen, they let me know that Katina Dean is their people. Like they claim her. So I don't know if she's kin. She has she's ancestors of the mer beings, but they rock with her heavy. They let me know she's protected by them. So, Katina Dean, my love, you have your people, your cousins contacted me. I love it because I didn't know. She gave me a message for the MERS, but they let me know that they claim her and they protect her. So, Katina, whenever you see the water running or like water coming out of the blue, they let me know that when they talk to her, it's always water running. So like if the toilet starts flushing on its own, if the faucet starts pouring just out of the blue, or you start getting leaking, that's them. That's their presence with her. I love it. I had no clue. So she probably knows more, but my God, Katina D. And it was weird because the message came like roundabout because they know that we're connected, just by friendliness through the channels, I guess. But who would have thunk it? Big up to her. You know what I mean? Down with the mer people. And that's big because at this time, the pact between the black ETs and the mermen is probably pertinent to maybe the message that was relayed to. It's not really a message. I think she probably already knows. I just didn't know. So mad respect. Okay? So whenever water, she has something with water, like they come through her through water. So whenever water comes up in her house or she's doing something with water, that's how they telepathically speak through her or to her. So I think she's awesome. I was like, oh my God. When you kind of like, you meet a friend, you meet a friend and your friend knows another person that you know. And I'm like, oh my God, you know her? Yeah, I know you know her. So, Yeah. I think she might have a genetic connection to the mer beings. It might be more genetic because usually any form of contact that I get has a lot more to do with genetics. Um, because when many of you know me for a while. Um, Whenever you have a connection, like I talk about it all the time. Many of you used to be on my show, Aquarius Rising Ninth Gate, when I had people call in. A lot of times, even if when you see UFOs, the UFO that you're perceiving or observing is usually you. It's connected to you. It's the resonance of your DNA that allows you to connect with certain type of beings, certain type of ships, certain kind of information is connected to your DNA. That's why I say you stop mating with reckless DNA. They've got some really bad hybrid versions on Earth of really non-harmonic DNA that they want you to merge with. They want you to allow them to incept your DNA, your chromosomal makeup, so that you almost get capped with messages. Be careful who you mate with. Okay? DNA matters. Even though they'll tell you, oh, I don't see colors. Oh, please, can I tell you? We're almost at 500, y'all. Let me just give this message. Stop saying that to people of color. It insults people. You may not have bad intent. Somebody else said it yesterday. I'm like, stop saying it. You realize how ignorant you sound? You're telling me you can't see color. Are you colorblind? Do you not dream in color? Do you not match your shoes with your shirt? Stop it. It's insulting to people of color because it's you having some form of what is it called? You denying certain things to maybe it's some sort of internal guilt. Stop feeling guilty. You have nothing to do with, oh, we incarnate. Just stop. People of color don't like it, and when you say it, and the only people who say it are lunars. Lunars, please take a sweet message for me. This is a kind message, okay? Stop saying that to people of color. It insults them. You don't know because every lunar says it. So it is a automated response to bias that's internal. Everybody sees color. When you say you don't, you're going to be side-eyed. They may not say it to you. They may smile at you. They may accept that you say that, oh, girl, I'm telling you. Stop saying that to people. And again, it happened yesterday. And, I sweetly just respond, do you not match your shoes with your bag? You have to softly take them out of their own denial. Okay? Sometimes you have to, it's like a cognitive dissonance of choice. It's ignorant. It's like you saying, excuse my language, close the baby's ears. It's like you saying, I don't see you as a nigger. Don't repeat that word. I'm just saying, I just had to give you an example. That's what it sounds like to brown people. I don't see you as a nigger. That's what it sounds like. It's an underhanded insult. Okay? I'll leave it alone. Okay? Don't worry about it. Don't get mad. Don't get upset with yourself. You may not know. Okay, let me start the topic of discussion. Okay, y'all. Peace, YouTube. This is FleurBrun coming to you today. I'm always talking about seeding conversation. We're going to do discussion, topic of discussion. So, you've all checked in. I have gotten a message. Okay, many of you know around this season, I'm really, really connected to the ancestral realms. And you know that I make it a point to talk to like my grandmother last year and the melanated ETs contacted me. I didn't look for them. And what's interesting is I think there's some connection to Anubis with the ancestral messages. Why? Many of you heard, if you look on my YouTube channel, you'll see when I was doing a barn fire at my house, I had a bunch of wolves and a wolf woman howling after I turned out the fire. And since I've been where I've been, I've noticed that there's been a lot of lichen or type of werewolf beings that are around here. Now, my 2 dogs, I have 4. Big up to those who are connected to the canines, to the Anubis energy. I have 4 beautiful doggies. Many of you know them. You know Babette. Big up to Babette. Many of you know Babette. She likes to photo bomb my videos. Then you know Fi. Fi is about that life. My German Shepherd. She was raised by a Zen numerologist. Given to me. I love Fi. Calm energy. Big girl. but is really a calm spirit. Many of you know Lola, and which is mommy to Frost, which are the dogs I rescued, which are Siberian Huskies. Why do I have to share this with you? Because the energy of them changes. Because remember, when you have your furry family, you share essence. It's like a kinship. It's like a relationship. It's like a bond. It's like a pact that you make with each other, soul-wise. So please refrain from thinking that your dogs or cats or your animals don't have a soul tie with you. Just like we have soul ties with people, we have soul ties with the animals in our lives. Rats, dogs, whatever animal that you have a connection to, we have soul ties with them. And sometimes when you're traveling in the etheric realms, they'll rock with you. Sometimes you'll see your cat show up with you in the etheric realms. They'll show up sometimes as guardians, or if they're familiars, they will show up in their humanoid form that they were previous to going into an animal form. Okay, so why I bring up the dogs is because many of you heard the video of these wolfie, and it was a woman who sounded like she was screaming and imitating a wolf sound. She contacted me telepathically. Let's listen. This is a season to be contacted, y'all. Okay, since my mother transcended, beings have so much of an easier time telepathically contacting me, and she alerted me. Now, I didn't know what that being was. I told you, should I move from where I am when I heard those wolf sounds? Because I was like, they're out of control. They are, you know what I mean? They were out of control. I've never heard that. And they surrounded me. She made a sound like a mimicking of a wolf sound. And to follow her, all of the wolves localized around me responded to her. Big up to the wolf woman. To the wolf, I would perceive her to be a human that is living in cohesion with her wolf pack. She let me know that she isn't here to harm FleurBrun. She's here to show respect and to tell me that she is surrounding me and watching in protection of me and my family. Because, and this is why I say the deeds that you do aren't ever unwatched or unnoted. She let me know that the rescue of Lula and Frost from their doom of being captive by a woman who was keeping them in a cage together in the middle of the desert. She noted that she telepathically knows, she saw that I saved them, and she's giving me a daps, like mad respect, like literally saying, yo, I give you respect for rescuing our people, our beings, like our those who come from this lineage, the wolf lineage. And she said, I've garnered some sort of like an honor. Like, I respect you for doing that and saving a mother and her child in the middle of the desert. So she has let me know that she is setting forth protection with her and her wolf clan. They're protecting me and surrounding me, make sure none of them Willy Wonka system mother freakers try to come any which way. So big up to the wolf mama. I told you there was something in the woods. And again, some people say, how do you get these messages? Obviously, ever since my mom, it's stronger. Obviously, I'm a contactee. But when she let me know that she's there representing, and that she telepathically could see what I did for my pups, my dogs, that she gave respect for those who do good deeds and save those who are under enslavement by humans that get animals and abuse them. So big up to the wolf being, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And you know what I realized with those howling, remember the movie The Howling? With the howling, that was a serenade. That was out of respect. So I want to give a shout out to her. I just want to mention that. But why I mention this also is because if you remember last year, it's all relative. And that's why I say we're in a loop of some sort. Because remember last year, at the time when I had contact with the beings on the phone, does anyone remember what I heard right before it that happened? It was a little different. I had heard coyotes outside and then stop. got coyotes outside last year where I was, and they stopped howling at the time that the phone rang in the house when I got contact. Okay? The howling. Now, why I say that is because I think it's all interconnected. I actually think that sometimes when we're closest to Anubis or an energy of Anubis, it allows for permeations into the dead, into the in the state, in the transcendent state that people who die experience. And because my mother had just transitioned a couple months ago, many of you know, she pulled me into, and let me give another shout out to Brother Panic, who also transcended. She pulled me into Panic's realm, his labyrinth, and I was able to experience witnessing what happens after people transcend. Like Panic's world, I got to give a shout out to Panic's wife, Panic's people, because I haven't ever witnessed anything like that in my life. Panic taught people how to transcend and die properly with consciousness. Because if one dies with a certain kind of limited cognitive dissonance or forms of entrainment, very religious dogmas, they tend to be very encrypted, like they're capped when they go to the other side. If you have an openness and a receptivity to things outside your primitive thinking in your physical body, when you transcend, you have a world that's kind of open to you like this. It's like opens like that, wide, like a lotus. Okay? So it's very important to remember, become as conscious and open and receptive without limiting your ability to receive messages, not even just here, because when this physical body transcends, you have left, if you're real, if you're a soul being, you have the essence of your soul left, but it holds on to the Akashic records of what that soul has incurred or has experienced over the decades, over the years. It depends on where you come from. And I want to give a shout out to Brother Panic for teaching. And that's why I say many people don't know, because you weren't allowed. Hey, Sean, you weren't allowed to enter into Panic's mindset. You wouldn't even receive it unless you were initiated with a consciousness that allowed for that kind of messaging to be translated for you. Okay, Panic was like a master teacher. I almost feel like he didn't get the respect that he deserved at all. I think he did in certain aspects, but I think maybe because he was so much greater than some people could take on the message. But literally in itself, I think that the things that he taught are things that are beyond. Oh my God, Tahir, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate it all. I appreciate it. Thank you. That's all. 55. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hold on. I think I gave a heart to you. Hold on. I think it lets me give a heart. They used to let me give a heart to it. Thank you so much. Brother Panic, if you get a chance, anyone who's open and willing to go to Panic, I don't know if you can go to his channel still. I'm not sure if all the messages, but if you're dealing with knowing that, I don't even think it's if you're dealing with, if you want to know how to transcend with a form of consciousness, that is who you go to. Okay. And I share this because Brother Panic, when my mother transitioned, I was initiated into the realm, his labyrinth, which was a Taurus realm. And remember Saki, big up to Saki. Saki is also a Taurus. I didn't know he was a Taurus, but in the field, all those people inside were different priestesses that rock with him. Big up to him. And why I say that is, again, Anubis kept coming up. Occult lectures. Yes, occult lectures. Thank you. That's his channel. Anubis was the initiator of that interface. So it's interesting that the dogs, the Anubis energy, is like the initiation into the ethereal realms of those who've transcended. Okay, and another thing about that is that the pact that's been made between the and I was talking about Quatina Dean, who's carrying the signature of the MERS, the aquatic beings. The pact that was made between the melanated males and the MerMen is being done because we're being returned back to a water world. When all is said and done with the pole shift, there's going to be water on most surfaces again. Actually, you know, I think this realm actually was fully water, mostly at a particular time. That's why everything is reptile that was living here. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of things that were, hold on, yo. People are so nosy. I'm sitting down chilling. Nobody bothers me until I make a video. I tell you. It's like as soon as I make a video, everybody wants to come around and see what time is going on. So, hold on. I promised I would change my behavior, right? I promised I wouldn't react, right? Oh, big up to, hey. Okay, Babette's here, Chon's here, Delma Shay's here. Hey, everybody. Let me tell you, remember, I have to change my reaction, okay? I'm going to try to focus. Instead of non-focus, right? Okay. I'm trying. Hold on. Give me a minute. Okay. I think I'm good. It's always males, though. Why? Oh my God. Anyway. Okay, let's go into it. So there's a pact that's been made between the black ETs and the MerMen. Now, the MerMen, I'm unsure if many of you know that there are, when we talk about mermaids, it's interesting that it's never spoken about the MerMen. Now, I don't know if you get a chance and look on the internet because it's probably still there. There was a gentleman. He was a comedian, a brown comedian. He was in France. And no, they weren't in France. They were in Seychelles. Let me get it right. They were in Seychelles. Look for the video. It's probably still up. They were in Seychelles. And I like to give you an example of mermen because I think many of you just know about mermaids and sirens. And that's purposefully done so that you don't know that the protectors of the sea are the mermen. Okay? Sirens are an offset, almost like a coven, an offset of mermaids that kind of went rogue. And they have certain abilities of initiating a sound pulse frequency that can put and train especially males' minds and put them under mind control or entrain their minds, almost like make men hypnotized by their voices. That's the sirens, okay? But they're like an offset of certain types of I would say tribes. We have tribes in the water of mer beings, okay? But the mermen are the protectors of the water. And I'm going to share this story so you understand. So in the video, if you could find it, if I can find it for you, I'll share it on the YouTube. There's a brown man, he's in Seychelles, and there's a little French boy, he's a comedian, and he talks about like them telling everybody not to go to this particular waterway. Hey, Oracle, not to go to this particular waterway at the Seychelles because it was like a lagoon. People were forbid from going there at night. Hold on. Okay, hold on. So, obviously they didn't practice it. So he went to the waterway with a little French boy. And when they went to the tip of the water, they saw what looked like a being hop out of the water like a full fish man. Listen to me. A full fish man come out of the water and dive, like almost like in a movie, like dive over and go into the water with no splash. He looked like, if you ever watch The Shape of Water, The Shape of Water, what's another one? The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Some of you who are like old school, remember the movie, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, the being that you saw, the physicality of the being that you saw in Shape of Water. That's how that being looked. And it hopped into the water and they backed up. He said he went up. I love this story. He went up to the top and he went up to the top of the little French boy, and the little French boy is telling his family that he saw this merman jump out of the water. He was obviously a male, though. He said when he saw the face, you could barely see the face, but it was, what I understand his description was likened to that, of those type of mer beings in the water. You're only being shown a specific image, and you're only being propagated with females in the water, y'all. That's purposefully done. The mermen are the protectors. They're the warriors of the waterways. Go to some of the archives of the Dogon tribe. When they talk about, they used to exchange tools with their mer family, and it was mostly males that they were doing this with. It was never truly the females that would come to the surface to exchange the tools. Like, they would exchange surface things with their waterway cousins. There's a lot of archives discussing this. But whenever you hear of mer people, you only solely hear of mer women, mermaids. There's a reason for that. And why do they call them mermaids? Like, if they're servitudes. And also, you know that that's why they only capture, a lot of times when they're fishing, they generally capture the females, because the females, when they consume their flesh, these bastards are eating mermaids. They're able to hear the echoes of the ocean and see certain places that they exist in the underwater ways. Okay? And also they garner certain powers. I think they said they can see through the realms when they consume mermaid flesh. Okay? But best believe that any sort of war tactics, war initiation is done with the mermen. Okay? And the mermen and the men, the black ET males, the males that I spoke to, they have made a pact with the mermen to initiate certain tactics and certain types of claiming certain terrain when the water takes over and sweeps over the land. So it's just like we have countries that make treaties based on the relationship with each other, whether it's France with England, whether it's Germany with Poland. We make land agreements, but that's why you don't realize, even in the verbal communication that we have within our dynamics, like, we use a lot of water terms, you know what I mean? Like, we use a lot of terms in our lexicon, in our legalese, that are related to water in a lot of ways. So now you understand that we have laws of the land, but we also have laws of the seas. And the black ET males have made the soldiers, the males that I was in contact with, the soldiers have made a pact with the mermen, and they are literally territorializing certain places after the water takes over the land. Oh, maritime laws, yes. Okay, so I wanted to give that message that probably the people who are in contact with the mer beings, usually when I go into the water, and I talked about this years ago. You can listen to my old videos, because I don't want to go over things I've talked about for so long. You know what I mean? Some of you have come to me newly, but you know I've been on YouTube since 2011. Okay? You may be new to me, but I've talked about so many things, and many things haven't changed. Usually when I have communication with the MERS, it could be some sort of memory that I had, maybe being in the waterways. And I talk about the fact that there was one dimension where I was coexisting with my children, and we were mer people, and I was waiting for us to transition back into our human form, and my children took too long, and I was scared for them, and we were behind a cargo boxes, and we came up on like a dock, and I changed quickly, and they couldn't because they were too young, and they took a long time. So I remember even having the fear inside of me that they wouldn't change quick enough and that they would be found and taken. Okay, so I think with that, because maybe interdimensionally, I could be a mer in another dimension, like we're coexisting in a multiverse where we have different forms of ourselves in different dimensions. I believe that's probably because I have that. But anyway, so usually when I have telecommunication with the mer beings, I'm always in water breathing. Okay, and that's why I told you many times that if you have mer in you, if you have that, you won't have a fear of water like that. You'll be able to breathe it. And if you have a fear, it may be from, like, if you are mer, it could have been initiated by humanoids or like messages on the surface to deter you from connecting to your mer self. And why you know this is true is listen to all the preachers in Africa. It was one of the sea stars. Remember the show I was on? What was the show called? Oh God, I was on a show on Blog Talk. You remember years ago, the beautiful young ladies, two of them. And when I was on the show, one of them let me know, Kenya, I think her name was Kenya. One of them let me know that there was this whole initiation in Africa, and the preachers were talking about making exorcisms of people connecting to their mer family and marine spirits. Many of you from Africa actually may know this. If you're from Africa, like New Guinea, Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia, who else does this? Cote d'Ivoire. What's Cote d'Ivoire again? I don't know the English. Cote d'Ivoire, Cote d'Ivoire. Where's my francophone people? Some French terms I don't know the English for. Wait, Cote d'Ivoire. I know it. Hold on. Cote d'Ivoire, Cote d'Ivoire, Cote d'Ivoire. Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast. I got it. Okay. It takes me a minute because I'll use, like, with La Tour Eiffel, the Eiffel Tower. Some terms, as a young girl, my parents only use the French term, so sometimes it takes me a minute to translate it into English. It's weird. I should know it because I speak English all the time, but it takes me a minute to get it back in my mind. It's crazy. Yeah, like Tour Eiffel or L'Arc de Triomphe, you know, the the square thing, the L'Arc de Triomphe. I don't know certain terminology. It's weird. Anyway, look, oh, he's back. He's back, y'all. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Let me just take deep breaths, y'all. Hold on. Okay, and let me stay on topic. I gotta learn to ignore these things. So I know men. I think Alex, who's on my Zoom, he talks about, and it was another gentleman that was on my chat. They were young males that were having dreams of whales all the time, and I think that's their connection to the mermen, maybe. You know what I mean? And I actually think that I don't know if Alex, well, you know, some people have allergy to like fish. It could be connected to that too. Like, I think that some males, and I've heard this with males, I know females sometimes, like, I'll dream of belugas, but I'll be in the water breathing. But I notice a lot of young males, like within the last, because I've been online a long time, and I notice patterns. And I noticed that a lot of young males were having dreams of swimming with whales and being really afraid of it. So I actually think that this could be their connection to being mermen or being in a realm where they coexist like that. So I don't know if anybody has any males. It could be females too, but I just noticed with the young males. And when I say young, like, I think they were all in their 20s, like late 20s, that were having dreams of whales. And this was like over the last, I've been online for a long time, maybe the last 5 years, I've noticed a lot of males coming to me who say they have dreams of swimming with whales, like in the deep ocean. You know what I mean? And that could be denoted that it's bleeding over into their memories being in the ocean, because again, the MERS, they have all these different types of groups within the ocean ways, and just like we have our sort of laws and territorial places, they do too. So I think some men have that. So if any young men have that, it could be older men too. I just noticed, remember, I'm online, I could only have access to certain people, so I'm just saying a couple men, young males that I know, that I talked to, they specifically had a connection to the whales. And remember, if you know anything about the traveling of the MERS, the mer beings, and this has been denoted in some of the archives of some of the beings, the tribes that have connection to the mer beings, they talk about that whenever they do their migrations in the waters, they always travel with the whales. The sperm whales, I don't know if it's orcas, I don't think so. But I know that sperm whales and belugas sometimes travel with the dolphins in these migrational patterns. And I've also likened that dolphins are also like to a lot of the MERS, are almost like how we have our dogs, like our like our pets. That's their pets to them, like their dogs in their realm. You know what I mean? So, anybody who has connection, think about the members. And also the Sea Star, who had, this is years ago, she had a memory of being in a world where mermaids, hold on, y'all, where the mermaids actually, like a little brown girl had really curly hair. She was sitting on a mermaid. The world was kind of purplish where she was from. And she was sitting riding the dolphin in her world, a little brown girl, beautiful little brown pretty brown complexion, curly hair. She kind of described it. And she saw this little girl, maybe like, I don't remember, maybe like, was she like 6 or 7, maybe like young, riding them. Okay. So I kind of wanted to give that message of that pact that was made between the melanated men, the galactic men, the ETs, and the MerMen. And this lets me think that water, for this message to be given to me, this is my interpretation of it, for that message to be given to me at this point, it means that we might be getting a big a water pool like onto land. So it could mean that somewhere right now there's plans for, oh, I see a chipmunk. I saw a little chipmunk. Hold on, y'all. Oh, he's so cute. Alvin and the chipmunks. This is my perception. There must be something coming where land is going to be lost or gained for them. I shouldn't say lost. Land is going to be, water is going to be, land is going to, water is going to be gained from them because land is going to be lost. So something is about to happen for that message to be given to me. It means that somewhere there's going to be a lot of water taking over land that's not going to go back to land. I don't know where it is. I don't know what it is. I just know that that message wouldn't be told to me unless something big is going to happen where a lot of land is going to be lost. Okay. Okay. So let's go into our next topic. Please put a handy dandy like in the video if you like the topic of discussion. Because I'm doing multiple topics today, y'all. You should be very proud of me. Usually I lose my train of thought halfway through and start going on rants. I'm trying to stay focused, so I'm staying on the topic. So that's a message. Okay, so let's go into, I think the next one is Day of the Dead. Okay. Now, what I noticed is, I didn't know this before. I don't think I ever cared enough to realize that whenever a reptilian dies, their physical body doesn't mean as much as ours. Like, this is the message I'll give you. I want to stay focused. When a reptilian transcends, they go into a sub-tier realm where they linger there. They don't incarnate like we do. Their energy doesn't really phase out. It just changes dimensional frequency. So when their physical body transcends, and how they hold on a grip to the previous realm, 4D, even though they may be perceived, maybe existing what you think is 3D, most, if not all, reptilians coexist fully in 4D. It could be, I heard 6D, they also exist, but I'm not sure. And remember, there's multiple tiers of reptilians, okay? But from what I understand is that they don't lose ground. They just take, the body leaving them does not really phase them as much as it may what we perceive to be us. They transcend into a sub-tier of 2D where they kind of live amongst the lower tier kind of energies, like very cryptid, very marshy. Like when I see where they're existing, it's like marshy, very like creepy reptilians, like lizard-like land. But in order to hold ground, and it's really, wait, let me give a warning. Can anyone make sure that little ones aren't here? Y'all, can you... I always give this warning. I don't want children listening to my videos. I think it's unacceptable. So, Jesus Christ loves me. Are you trying to gaslight me? Please bring the little ones out. I'll give you a minute. Bring the little ones out of the room. I don't think it's appropriate what I'm about to say. Okay, I'll give you a minute. Mommies, abuelas, big sisters. Yeah. Please, if you come here, and I'll give you, while the little ones are going, I'll just say this. I don't hate your concept of Jesus, but why would you, it's like you're mentally ill. Like, do you not realize you're not in a company? Like, why would you be on a channel like this? Like, you almost like do you not know the company that you're keeping? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, are you unaware? Because I think a lot of times with Christians who do things like that and have these default, like these default statements that they make, Jesus loves you, or, you know, something about Christ, I almost feel like you're mentally ill. If you're on a channel where the woman talks about extraterrestrials, reptilians, and she says that Jesus isn't something that she relates to, why then would you say that? Like, are you trying to gaslight me? Are you trying to trigger this type of response? Do you want that much attention? Like, come on now. This isn't the channel for you. If you still believe that Jesus is as a tangible creature that existed, and you've read the Bible that they gave you, that's how either you can't read, you're illiterate, because first of all, you know, you would understand that even the description of the being in the Bible, he had copper skin, burned brass feet. I'm a copper skinned woman. They don't have any images of Jesus looking like me anywhere other than in Russia. Okay? And you will understand and understand that at the time that this so-called Jesus that you worship, his behavioral patterns are likened to that of a female. And those who studied the Bible, who shared this information with me, said that the payments that Jesus was getting is the same payment of those women that were getting paid that amount at that time. And when you look at the Last Supper, it's amazing to me they only speak about who's present as far as men, but totally ignore the one woman, Mary Magdalene, that was seated there. And I don't know you, but if Jesus was, you know, existed, the things that he was doing was very feminine, like washing the feet of men, which women who were wisdom women, who were more like seers and sages, they were the ones who washed men's feet. So please don't come in here if you're suffering from some sort of Stockholm syndrome, or you don't have any common knowledge or intuition that even if this being existed, most likely it was a female that they're not giving credit to because they hate women. Okay? A lot of these reptilian groups don't like women. So if this being existed, it would have been a female. I don't believe in Jesus in that way. Don't come in here. Okay? And it isn't that I'm a feminist. It's that I know when feminine things exist and they're being washed away with manhood. Okay? So stay on the channel. Love and Lighters will accept you. They don't really care. They're all about acceptance of everyone. I don't accept everyone. I accept those who accept themselves in a real way. Okay? Toodles. Love and light. Come in here with that religious jargon. We over here understand that we're living with a governmental system that's trying to kill everybody by biologically setting weapons and mass destruction. Oh, before I go into the topic, please understand and understand. I'm trying to save your life here. Stay away from chicken of mass destruction. They have put demon chickens during Yom Kippur. There's a group of sadistic Satanists, which I call the Zeros, who do a ritual, which is like a voodoo ritual. It's amazing to me they stole everybody else's ritual and then they act like it's part of their religion. They walk around a box, for God's sake. They're walking around a freaking Kaaba, worshiping a yoni inside. Anyway, I'm digressing. These beings do a ritual at that time when they take chickens and all the dirty deeds that they do. They put the chicken above their head and they let the chicken absorb all that child molestation, biting off foreskins, having sex anally, all the perverted porn sites that they create. They put it all in the chicken, the beating of their wives, their penis deformities, their craving man sex, their worms in their eyes of real. They put it all in their chicken above their head. And they kill the chicken, the bastards. They like to mutilate beings. Chickens matter too, y'all. How you kill a chicken is cruel. Like, these people they're not human. They're lizards. They told you they did a DNA test of a lizard and it came out their gene pool. Okay, that's all I have to say. Do not eat chicken at this time. It is my opinion. Keep chicken. If you want to eat chicken, do not let your children eat the chicken. They put the demons in them. Demon chickens, a mass destruction in the chicken. Do not let your children eat the chicken. Put the chicken away. Chicken is a reptile. You know, it's like a hybrid. It's not even natural. But it doesn't deserve to be abused like that. And they donate those chicken to all those places. And they just gave big up to the Sea Star. Who was it? Melissa. Just showed me that they're giving free chicken sandwiches and chicken strips. Are you mad? What government? They're taking away your food stamps, but they're going to give you free chicken sandwiches with demon chickens. Stay away from the chickens. Okay? And if you eat chicken and you're really mentally ill and you have to have it, get it from a farm source where you know they have their chickens raised on site. Pork is partially human. Do I have to do a lesson? What was I talking about? I'll do a quick lesson. The pigs matter. And it's abusive what they do to the pigs, y'all. I don't have anything against animals. They are slaves here, like me and you. They're slaves. They're being abused. And most animals, the females are treated the worst. The females and the babies of animals are treated the worst. Okay? Pork is part human. That's why a lot of the other beings don't touch it. Because they're hybrid. You ever see a pig? And I'm so sorry. It's very sad. You know, a lot of pigs, why do you think they used to call, you ever look at pigs? They look like some lunar people in UK. No shade to anyone who's lunar. I'm just saying that's because they're mixed with those people. They look like lunar people because they have a pink textured skin. They have like little hairs on their face. Some lunar people in Europe sometimes, and some other lunar people have little hairs on their face. They're mixed with those people. It's very cruel. I'm really sad about it. It's awful. And it doesn't mean I'm calling lunars pigs. I'm saying they're hybrid with those particular people. Okay, because when you look at them, they look like lunars, like the skin texture, sometimes the blonde hair, eyelashes, very cruel. And they're hybrid with humans. If you want to if you want to eat human flesh, if you want to consume human, now mind you, I will say this, some beings have to consume human flesh to maintain human form. Let me repeat this again. Some people that are reptilians and others, I don't want to label it just the reptiles, they need to consume a certain amount of human flesh in order to do it without causing red flags, like, vampires that, drink blood from a blood bank rather than going hunting for humans. They tend to put it in a hybrid form to make it less judgment based, so people can't judge them. Okay? So they made pigs for their own consumption for themselves. But if you aren't a hybrid reptilian trying to cloak itself physically, then you shouldn't be consuming human flesh because it makes you go mad. If you notice people that eat a lot of pork, they tend to be very grimy, very dirty, very they lack a certain kind of humanity. They smell really differently. Women who eat a lot of pork, their fufuns, their yonis smell very vinegar-like, you know what I mean? The stains on the panties tend to be a little more acidic. Okay, I'm sorry, I told you not to bring the children in here, okay? I told you. I said, I hope you put the children out because sometimes I go left and, I have, I'm Creole, I'm French. We don't have a sexual problem talking about things like that, okay? Okay, so I just, and a lot of times you don't realize a lot of men have sex with the pigs on their farms, the sheep on their farms. They have sex with, we saw the turkeys of mass destruction. That poor turkey was being raped before she was going to be killed and slaughtered. You saw the video. It's so horrific. Horrific that there are men that are having sex with the animals and then you go and consume them. There are sickos on this. That's hybriding, and a lot of them are Cabbage Patch people, y'all. A lot of the men. Listen, let me talk to the sadistic bestiality bastards. Okay, if you're having sex with your dog or your cat, remember the man who tied his alligator and had her mouth all taped up, and he was having sex with his alligator in Florida. Y'all are Cabbage Patch people. You haven't any sort of connection to morality, ethical behavior. You have no connection to source. So you just do as you please. Like you stick your wand and anything and everything. Okay? These are the beings. I mean, it's bad enough you're sticking in an anal cavity with poop. I judge you on that. Any man who thinks it's acceptable to stick his wand that is supposed to be godly and masterful into a poop chute and then also have sex with animals. And then we don't want to go into the fact that during this time, during this season, there's a lot of sex with corpses. Okay? There are men that are engaged in sex with corpses, with dead bodies. All right, we got a problem on this planet because it's psychopath. I told you, you're in a plane in a dome with psychopathic. Some of them are hybrid. They're not even human. There's some sort of Cabbage Patch. They haven't any connection to source, so their behavioral patterns are not normal because they don't have any sort of cap on what to touch, what not to touch. If their penises are hard, they'll stick it in the dirt, God's sake, if they want to. The man in Brazil had his penis out while he's sticking a whole hose of the gasoline pump up his butt in the middle of the daytime. We're living with psychopaths, and you need to know this. And mothers, stop acting like you're ignoring this. Some of the men in your house that you allow around your cubs are perverts and psychopaths that don't want you. They want your child, and they just got you around so he can eventually pedophile on your daughter or your son. I've gone left. I'm really sorry. I don't want to hurt. Have I gone too far? Sometimes I'm just too, maybe I say things I'm not supposed, this is a Sagittarius issue. I say things sometimes, and my mom used to say that. Some things you're not supposed to say out loud. I feel bad sometimes when I say this, because I feel like the fact that I know this, I don't feel bad because I'm glad I know this. I want to know you're disgusting. But I feel bad telling you because some of you get in shock and you're like, oh my God, she's off. But I feel like you should know. And women, let me tell you something. Women are not safe around your children either. If you have sons, the majority of men I've known in my life, and I don't know if it's a secret, a lot of women, other women I know, they're being molested by their babysitters, their sisters, their cousins in the house. Mothers, leave. Girls are not to be around your children either, especially if they're oversexed. If these little girls are like hypersex, they will molest your sons. Do you see all these lunar teachers in the Midwest having sex with their fifth graders? Because that's a problem. Do not assume that all child molesters are male. A lot of the most devious, disgusting, devastating perverts are women. And because women are not seen as that overtly, they get away with it because a lot of men will say, oh, at least my son lost it with, a girl, because they think that that's acceptable, or they expose their sons to pornography too early. So the boys start having sex with older women because he's been preempted into sexual behavior too young. Women, watch your babysitters. Watch your sisters and uncles in your house. Watch the other children, the siblings. Do not allow them to bathe together, be alone together in certain ways. Our environment is very perverted. And a lot of the children being molested right now, it's in-house with family members or babysitters. Okay, I'm just saying, if you as a mom have a babysitter you love, you need to grill that chick. You need to ask her if she masturbates or if she smokes a lot of weed or she takes drugs on weekend. You need to ask her what her sexual propensities are. If she's watching your child, you should know that. And if she doesn't want to answer it, she shouldn't be watching your child. Be careful. Most of the perverts are all inside of the daycare system. They hire perverts there. You know, the Satanists have the tunnels underneath schools. Y'all need to be careful. Homeschool your children. Bring them home. Sacrifice. I would tell you to get welfare, but apparently they're taking your food stamps away, and we're going to talk about that and what's going on with that. But take the babies out of school. Don't trust daycare providers either. A lot of them masturbate to like pornography with children, and you don't even know it, and then you let them sit in the classroom and they're taking sneak shots and pictures of your children and setting them to pedophiles, and that's why some children get kidnapped, because they're setting you up. So you have to make sure you pay attention to things like that. Okay, I'm going to stop now. I don't want to discuss you. I just put that out there. And sometimes somebody needs to say it out loud, because everybody thinks, oh, it's not appropriate. I don't want to bring that up. I don't want them to think pervert. I'm letting you know. I don't care. Okay, I talk about ETs and other things that I could care less. I prefer, if this conversation saves a life, allows for you to see a perverted babysitter because she's disgusting and she's oversexed and she's not having sex with boys, but she'll pedophile on your son. Pay attention. Girls are predators too. Okay, maybe not the highest degree as males, but don't sleep on them. Especially in an environment where little girls don't have as many males to mate with, she will prey on your son. She will do that because she can't get access to the males that she may want, so she may think it's appropriate to prey on your child. Okay, anyway, let's get into love and light. Wait, let me clear the energy. Love and light. Love and light. Thank God. Okay, so let's talk about the reptilians. Now, I was talking about the reptiles, and when they transcend, they go into a 2D realm, which is like a very swampy, low density realm where they kind of stay there. But in order to hold a certain kind of, because the way that reptilians work, they have a kind of mind control um, mechanism. Not mind control. It's a way they communicate. It's different than us. How can I say it? It's like trying to put it in words. It's like sonic. They can telepathically, but it's stronger than ours because we haven't fully developed ours. We kind of let it go. Some people are higher in telepathy, and the bonds between mother, child, or parent and child is a lot easier to use telepathy because we're bonded genetically. But humans have atrophied their ability to talk telepathically to other beings, okay, or to each other. Whereas certain species, especially reptilians, they have that like super enhanced. I don't know what I would say. It's like super enhanced, but the way that when they transcend before they actually die, or they're going through the transitionary period, they will allow others to consume them. Listen to me. It's something that I think maybe only the occultists may talk about, but they will consume the flesh. And there's certain tribes that still do this, but it comes from the reptilians that they do this, that they know to do this. They consume the flesh of their fallen one, the one who's about to transcend or who transcends, and it will hold a resonance so that from the lower 2D realm, they're able to still have telecommunications. This is where I say Day of the Dead, Day of the Reptilian Dead, is they're able to have telecommunications with the others who consume them. The resonance holds on to them. Like a hive kind of mentality is kind of hive because they can ask or require things from the 2D realm to the others who consume them. So they still have a presence in the 4D realm, even though they've transcended physical form. Okay. And also, for those who are cultists or like the Masons, I don't even think, not all Masons, y'all, because there's like They tell you 33 degrees. That's like the sub levels. The ones above the 33 degrees, they already know that they don't die like everybody else. Usually when they're about to transcend, they do a transference of their soul into a body. Sometime a child that's been picked and cultivated and been bred for that embedment, embedding of them in them. So they don't die like everybody else. They usually have a choice pick of a child that's been bred that they insert. And I told you, Lizzie the Lizard, Queen Elizabeth, I personally think that Charlotte, that Meghan Markle gave birth to, that was the one that she wanted to embed in. That's the choice child that she was trying to put her soul into. That's why she had such strong interest in that child. And we talked about the fact that during the time that we're going into pole shift or a reset, there's a lot of radiation. So that's why you're seeing a lot of the royal lines bleed into the brown royal lines to merge with, so that they can take on more radiation. You need melanin to take on the heightened amount of radiation, especially the gamma radiation that's coming in right now. And, I already let my fair skinned homegirls know that they need to consume more chlorophyll. That's also why there's a push for people to mate with each other, especially a lighter skinned females to mate with darker skinned males and have the males inseminate in them to lend them some of that genetic protection that's necessary to be able to go through a lot of the radiation bombardment that everyone's about to go through. Okay? So the reptilians do die, but their way of telecommunicating to the others is stronger, and they can do it through forms of consumption, which allows them to have like an overlay on the beings that consume them so they can telecommunicate with them as necessary. Okay? And this is something that I think everybody has to pay attention to. No shade to anyone who does it. That's why I stay away from light language, because I personally think that a lot of beings that are engaged in light language aren't aware that they're being telecommunicated with reptilians. A lot of them are being hoodwinked because the reptilians are smarter. They have much more awareness. They know what they are and who they are. And they know that the average human is just dumbed down, genetically lower, and have a lack of the ability to discern what is and what isn't. And what I've noticed from hearing and seeing light language in a lot of different people is that a lot of it is embedded with reptilian frequency. And they're being telecommunicated from beings that aren't what those people think they're telecommunicating with. And remember, reptilians are like the Daros. They're just liars. They're deceivers. They will use whatever avenue to telecommunicate or get a message across. So I noticed, and it's not all light language readers, but I just noticed a lot of them have an embedment of reptilian frequency on it, which makes me think that they're unaware that the 2D reptilians from the dead are used, especially now during this time when the veil is really open. Remember, 2D, they're telecommunicating with their other reptilians and those who consume other humans that have chosen to embed themselves with the reptilians. But for those who are unaware, a lot of these so-called channelers are channeling and being hosted and being mounted by reptilians, and they don't even know it. So I don't allow light language in anything that I do or anybody like that. I just don't trust it. And a lot of times, if you see someone who's engaged in light language, they have a lack of control. Anything that is good for you or healthy for you does not drain you, and nor does it impose on your body and depreciate it while it's communicating with you. That's a sign that it's parasitic and it isn't higher vibrational. And a lot of times with these beings that are being mounted and using language and they're translating, they get really drained really quickly, which lets me further know, because reptilians like to eat energy. Remember, they like to eat loosh. And from a sub-tier dimension, 2D, it's a food source for them so that they can take on physicality again. And it's kind of like, I don't know if you ever watched, did you guys ever watch Hellraiser? Do you remember no, was it Hellraiser? Yes, Hellraiser. Do you guys remember Hellraiser? I'll give you an example. I always give you examples of things. If you watch Hellraiser, you'll know what I'm talking. Don't watch it. It's demonic. If you can't handle it, if you take things in so easily, I'm not telling you to watch. I'm just telling you from a scene. watch that and you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. Like sometimes the reptilians will start to mount people and make them seem like they're Jesus Christ, or there's a loved one, or a good spirit, or a, angelic force. They'll lie. They'll use your own mind against you. They'll use your own belief system against you. You don't have the higher human beings have not developed, aren't developing, not all, most. 99% of human beings aren't using their brain at the highest capacity. And if you aren't using it properly, or you're constantly allowing like 5D electronics, you're drinking a lot, you're having diabolical sex, you're eating chicken and mass destruction, you are susceptible to being tricked and pimped out by reptilians from the sub-tier 2D realm, especially when the veil is really open and they can embed on people easier by your own limited cognitive awareness. So they use that as a way to communicate with you. And a lot of times what it is, because they feed on this loosh, they will use everything that you have in your belief system to make you think that it's something else, but it will always, that's how you know if it's good or bad, y'all. If whatever is using you or talking through you makes you feel lower, drained, tired, mad, angry, venomous, biased, prejudiced, it's most likely a reptilian from the sub-tier realms. Oh, I was telling you about the movie. So watch the scene in the movie. If you can tolerate it, please, please do not watch movies. I don't recommend it if you're highly susceptible to being infiltrated by dark beings, especially at this time. Hellraiser isn't a good movie for you. That's why they want you to watch horror movies at the time when the veil is most lifted. They love you to watch horror movies when you're most vulnerable, during a time when the veil is open, so you can be impressed upon, you can be mounted, you can be possessed by lower dimensional beings, which reptilians are. Okay? So in a scene in the movie, you see this guy who was serving the reptilians, right? He used the box, the Kaaba. Remember the box? Remember the box that changes shapes, like geometrical shapes, So he used the box, and he was the uncle that had used the box, and the box tore his body apart, right? Tore his body to pieces, like the Hellraiser came out. It's the most demonic movie, but it's the best depiction of the reptilians, y'all. You don't realize the guy who goes, look at me. I know it seems crazy. Look at it. Everybody gets scared when I do that. That's a reptilian, y'all. They show you that scene. Okay, those are low tier reptilians are showing you. The Hellraisers from that realm, the 2D realm. They want to get in your realm, so they possess people. They make you use the box. See? It's like they use that as a teleportation system. Okay? But remember the uncle, he got torn apart? And what did he need, y'all? Blood sacrifices. He used the wife to lure in people in the room to build himself back. That's what reptilians do when they want to get out of the 2D realm. They use blood sacrifices. Watch, if you want another movie, watch the meat train. She was feeding the guy, the uncle who had used the box, who was living in the hell realm, right? And she kept bringing sacrifice, and that blood was building this being back up. That's what they do in order to do you. They mount you. They'll put lower dimensional frequency on you, and you'll be exuding negativity. Any being that's higher isn't going to take on your body. They don't come into your body. They don't mount you, because that is a form of infiltration. Anything high wouldn't do that. Anything high wouldn't require for you to feed it with liquor, food, loosh, okay? Because anything higher doesn't require that. Only lower dimensional humanoids who have transcended require that, because they were in physical form, which is a lower dense form, and lower dimensional beings, especially reptilians. They require it. That's why there's so many sacrifices right now. The midnight meat train. Thank you. Thank you, Rory. Thank you. Okay. And that is important for you to realize. That's how you know. So no shade with the whole light language people. I just don't rock with it. And I don't trust it because I've seen the overlays on people. And also, I denote how much lack of control you have. If you have a lack of control of something speaking through you and you can't stop when it's appropriate, you don't have a certain amount of control, I already know you're being taken over by a dark being. And it may not even be a reptilian, but I've seen a lot of reptilian essence on people, but it's by a lower dimensional being. So that light language doesn't resonate with me. I don't rock with people who do it. That's not, I wouldn't even let somebody who does light language in my house around my family. That's how much I know that it's reptilians using that energetic exchange and making people spew a language that they can't even understand or they can't control and using them for that. Okay? So I think I got the whole reptilian death. Day of the Dead is really a reptilian blood sport. And that's why so many children are kidnapped. That's why there's so much loosh being, harvested right now. And that the ultimate harvest is right after they've fed the kids. Remember, there's a story about it, Hansel and Gretel. What did the witch do? What did she do? What did she do with those children? She fed them a whole bunch of sweets and candy, right? To fatten them up, to make them nice and yummy so she could eat them. That's what that is. It's a blood sport, okay? Watch your children. Stop letting babysitters come in your house and molest your sons. Listen, y'all, if that's not the biggest thing I'm sharing with you, stop letting young girls around your sons. It is not a good testimony that your son is straight. You don't have to expose them to pornography or girls molesting them to prove that the boys will be straight. A good, healthy, harmonious household will rear good, healthy boys. And stop smoking weed when you're pregnant because you most likely have a homosexual boy. Okay? That's my opinion. Okay, you want to have a straight boy? Stop doing drugs when you're pregnant. That would help. Stop allowing the government to impose biological weaponries during your pregnancy, or you giving your child, out of your own lack of understanding, any sort of inception inside of their body that is foreign. Okay, that'll help your child stay straight. So stop thinking that pornography and exposing your son to things too early is going to make them straight. It'll make him hate women more. And if he's already been bombarded by chemical warfare by his own Willy Wonka system, he's already on the land of poop shoots and anal penetration. I'm sorry I had to hurt you. I apologize. Love and light. Love and light. I gotta leave. I hope this message wasn't too harsh. I wish everybody the best. Um, I seem like, like I said, it isn't to harm you. These are things to make you aware. If you don't like the message, and also, oh, I will say this. They've been unsubscribing people. I haven't anything to do with that. Okay. I feel like the message is for those who are, that's why I don't promote my channel. If you're here and you you resonate with my messages and with me, it most likely will bring you in. Willy Wonka's trying to unsubscribe people, but I can't stop that, and I can't. It's not my fault. I'm not doing it. Some people are like I'm not doing it. Okay, they were doing some craziness lately, but it isn't me. Okay, they keep unsubscribing you. I can't. It's not. Again, we're in those times. You should telepathically be connected to me. You should know when a message is going to come. When it resonates with you, you won't need a bell to tell you. You'll just feel me coming. I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that. Love and light. All right, y'all. And if you're insulted by what I share, the target is on, what someone say to me? It's an American term. Hit dogs don't holler. Okay. And I want to give a shout out to Rod Hayes. Every time I hear Rod Hayes' voice, again, it transcribes something I needed to know. I love that. Big up to Rod Hayes in the house. Okay. So I'm going to go. I apologize if I offended you, but I feel like if the things I say are so offensive, it is what it is. I can't, if me telling you not to let people molest your child bothers you, I think you're most likely a child molester, or you host that kind of energy. If I'm telling you that light language is demonic, then most likely you're probably okay with that because it shouldn't bother you. If you're doing light language and you don't feel it's demonic, it wouldn't bother you. It would bother you if you don't have if you have a lack of understanding and you may feel like you're infiltrated. You know what I mean? Anyway. I'm out of here, y'all. I wish everybody a happy Saturn day. Protect your energy. If you go and engage with any of these dark beings, protect your light. Let your, like I said, for those of us who have sons, protect your sons. Okay. Little boys matter. And if you want to have healthier boys for proper, so they can grow up to be beautiful, healthy, strong males, stop allowing them to drink things with soy in it. Stop giving them plastic. This is glass. Stop giving your sons plastic. Stop letting the government incept inside of your children. Okay? Stop. And if you want your sons to like brown women, stop wearing other ethnicity hair around your son. I know that bothers a lot of women, but you got to understand the truth. If you have sons that are dating women that look opposite than you, then you have to take some responsibility that the hair and the pheromones you put on your head matter. If you're putting females' hair, pheromones that are of another ethnicity, your son will have a propensity to having a desire to mate with that which he's been exposed to. Coily hair is beautiful. Do not let people vilify the thing that they wish they could have. Stop allowing people into your mind, making you hate yourself, the very people that are emulating you. The Darrows have done a good job doing bait and switch, making you feel like you are lesser because you have a certain texture or a certain look. If your look and texture was negative, there would be a lot of people that wouldn't be emulating it. If someone is sitting getting tans to get your copper color, it means that you aren't as bad as you think you are. If there are women that every time you have your natural hair out and they want to touch it, it means that it's magnetic. I'm telling you that you are beautiful. If you have brown copper skin, you are beautiful. If you have beautiful big lips that are luscious and bee stung naturally, you are beautiful. If you have a beautiful puffy, a nice little round nose, you are beautiful. Stop it already. Being yourself, you can never be a good copy, but you darn skippy can be an original that nobody else can copy because they can't emulate it. Stop being copies to other women. I'm just helping you in this conversation that others won't tell you because your sons matter, and how you love yourself is what your son will look for in the future. If you show a level of self-hatred or self-loathing, your son will go to women who he perceives love themselves and have a more peaceful life. Okay? The original can't be mimicked. Stop copying other women's looks and be careful women that go and dye their hair blonde, because I actually think, as we know, a lot of details of infiltration is when women tend to dye their hair blonde, and especially at a time when Willy Wonka uses that as a note to the others that they've been taken over by mind control. Okay, pay attention to someone who dyes their hair blonde out of the blue. That in my community means infiltration, and it usually means government infiltration with MK Ultra. Okay, so just my just my opinion. Do what you do. It's the Halloween series. Be yourself, protect your babies, be authentic, stop being a copy, be an original, and know when you're being communicated with things that are lower than you so that you can take full responsibility for your own choices and for your own energy. Okay? Welcome to the Day of the Dead, okay? And the waterways are coming. We'll find out where it's coming from. But for that message from the black ETs to the mermen, water's coming inland. So everybody, I don't know if you're close to the coastlines, that message they gave me means something's coming in. So pay attention to where you live. Get a little boat because you might be needing a boat wherever you live if this coming in quick and easy, quick and fast, okay? So I wish everybody well. This message, I'll come in with a nicer message next time. Maybe I'll come in a little sweeter, okay? Big ups to the zombies. I know the zombies, you didn't contact me. Big ups to Boston again. Boston, I was in Boston. So, loving the East Coast. And big ups to the men who aren't afraid to still wear Timberlands. And anyway, that's another conversation, okay? I love you. Take care, be well, and I will chat with you again before the Day in the Dead. before the harvesting fully begins. And also for those, FYI, also for those who are on, um, is it WIC? No, WIC? I don't think WIC is WIC being attacked? It's food stamps or SNAP, right? Don't let them gaslight you. We talked about this before. I told you to get off of anything that they wanted you to be codependent so they could initiate martial law. We talked about this. They were going to make you codependent on them. That's the only reason. It's the same thing in a relationship. Somebody making you codependent so that they have control over you, and then when they pull the rug from underneath you, you're gonna go crazy. Refrain from giving them what they want. They want you to riot because they want to initiate martial law. Please refrain from doing that. We in here know the power of fasting. For mothers, you can fast while your babies are taken care of. And also for those who have little ones, little ones. Remember, Mama Fleur is a nurser. I used to nurse my babies. All my babies were nursed. One thing I say is that many of the ones who are more vulnerable are the babies and the elders. I ask everybody in here, if you have an elder in your life that you love, that you see, I would ask that you give a donations to them and go to the grocery store and get the neighborhood to buy them food so that they have it for the month. I think that would be good stewardship and it would be helpful. For the mothers who have babies who are concerned of not being able to afford their baby formula, you do know that goat's milk is the milk that's closest to mother's milk, mother human milk. So there are ways to get organic goat's milk online that you can get that's powdered form, and you get organic water. Don't use water bottles that are glass. Get a good filter on your sink, and you can give the baby wonderful. This is my opinion as a mother. Opinion as a mother. Goat's milk. You get organic goat's milk. Get the French kind, not from the United States. If you know other people, if we're good stewards, we help our family, we help our people around us. If you know that a mother has babies, if you can donate a couple dollars or purchase it for her so that she has it, and you get a couple of the tubs of goat milk and you can make it, and the baby, it will be cohesive to most babies, okay? So it's very important. Irish moss is good, but be careful if a baby is O positive, they have sensitivities to copper. Irish moss is high in copper. I don't know if many people know. You know, from the Caribbean, we know this because some people have sensitivities to high amount of copper and things, and Irish moss is something that's very perpetuated in Caribbean communities. But be careful with Irish moss if you are O positive or you have babies of O positive because they get hypersensitive to that exposure to the copper, and it can cause a lot of health issues. Pay attention to that. Irish moss, that's why they promote things and they don't tell you what bloodlines do well with it. Not everything is for everyone. Even if you get a superfood, could be good to an Irish person, but not good to someone who's Dutch. It could be good to someone from a certain part of America, but not part of another bloodline. Stop initiating things that could be, you have to know what's good for your own bloodline. You have to know what's good for your own blood type, okay? So that's my addition to assisting. Goat's milk for mothers who are on WIC, not WIC, I don't know what they're on. Food stamps, whatever. Help everybody. Do not allow the government to take over because you are sitting here high in your horse. If your neighbor is starving, then you're starving too. We're supposed to be good stewards and take care of each other. And I really ask that everyone watch your aunties, your grandfathers, your uncles, your elders, because they're the ones who are going to be affected. If everyone can go in, check your uncles, check the grandfathers. If you have a grandfather or elder in the neighborhood, please. It used to be that brown people in the hood would take care of their own people. Let's show them. Let's be the change we want to see in the world. Stop relying on governments to give you anything, because obviously you see they use it against you and they're not trying to help you. If they're trying to help you, how could they take food away from people who supposedly need it, but give it to a whole nother Darrow's country and to a country foreign? They got billions of dollars they're giving to others, but they're letting you starve. Start seeing the Willy Wonka system for what they are and start taking care of your own people and stop begging for crumbs from a table that obviously doesn't want you sitting there. Okay? That's my suggestion. Love you, everyone. Stay well, and I will speak to you later. Peace.